Hey, David, thanks for joining us again. Welcome to CBS Sports Radio. How you doing?
Well, Tiki, I'll be honest with you, I'm completely exhausted. I've worked almost 2 days a week since April, and we're staggering towards the finish line here.
But it's got to be exciting, though. I mean, I know you've been extraordinarily busy, but it's got to be an exciting time because you don't know which one of these young kids is going to have an explosive or amazing performance in any of the majors or any of these tournaments recently.
No, you're right. The strength and depth is extraordinary now, Tiki. It's just got to where, whether it's a Troy Merritt or a kid that'll just pop up from nowhere to win, or seemingly from nowhere. I mean, I've got to acquaint myself with these kids when I get to the tournament because, I mean, you can't keep track of them. There's so many of them. And then you get Jordan and Rory at the top that are just two of the finest human beings you've ever met,
yep,
as well as being, such superb players. And then you got Tiger Woods, who got into contention last week and is showing signs of form. We won't see him this week, unfortunately. But it's amazing to see him, getting so close again after, such a bad stretch.
Yeah, we saw him at the Wyndham Championship, and Davis Love won the Wyndham Championship. Could you imagine that? Now he's in the FedEx Cup running.
Yeah, I mean, it was past Davis's bedtime and his pureed vegetables. He's supposed to be in an old age home at this point, not out winning golf tournaments, but the longevity is there as well. Look at Vijay Singh, who's playing so well. Jim Furyk, who's just, he's unstoppable. He's just a money-making machine.
Talking to David Fehrety, CBS Sports on-course golf reporter. Now, David, give us an insight, because some people don't understand the FedEx Cup. It's the playoff, essentially, of professional golf. Explain why this is such a big deal for golf and, I guess more importantly, for the players and the guy who ultimately wins it.
Well, you've got two sort of separate important categories, I think, in golf. You've got the majors, the four majors each year, and then at the end of the season, the FedEx Cup, where, they start with 125 players, and the field for each of the 4 weeks, it shrinks down to 30 the last week, and it's an $11 million payoff, whoever wins the thing, And I didn't like the idea, Tiki, when it first came out.
Yeah.
I didn't think, that golf was a sort of sport that suited, the playoff format. But, if you look at last week, it's a perfect example of why it works. You've got Tiger that enters late, that gets into contention. You've got a bunch of players around the bubble, top. So there's several events going on there, when you think they're trying to win the tournament, they're trying to get into the FedEx Cup, and it means so much to them. I think that's the measure of how successful any playoff in any sport is, and how much does it mean to the players.
Yeah.
And these guys really start thinking about it about two-thirds of the way through the season, and I think it's become very successful.
Yeah, my guy, and I always say this because I don't want the pressure of having to win a major every year. My guy, who's always at the top of the FedEx Cup rankings, is Jimmy Walker. I want to be Jimmy Walker. Just go win a couple $1 million every year. Don't got to compete in the majors to win, but you got to be there, get into the FedEx Cup, and win some money.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make you a bad person.
No, not at all.
Jimmy Walker is kind of, he broke the mold because he didn't really start to play great, until he was 35. That's what you're supposed to do, Tiki.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have some respect for older people. I mean, these kids today have absolutely no respect. We're getting to the stage where there's going to be a sperm whacking around an unfertilized egg on tour. That's how young they're getting.
Yeah, you're right. You got the Jordan Spieth and the Jason Days and all these young, even though Jason Day's not that young. But handicap these guys: Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, Rory. Those are the ones that are young and at the top of their game. If you're looking at them right now, which one are you buying for the foreseeable future?
Boy, I mean, all of them, to be honest with you. And I think there's a possibility that we could get the sort of rivalry that we had with Nicklaus and Palmer and, Watson, Trevino, Johnny Miller, Weiskopf. We've got that amount of great young players at the top at the minute. The difference today, though, Tiki, is that there are so many players that are capable of winning, whereas back in the 60s and 70s, maybe only half the field was capable of actually winning the tournament they were playing, and now it's everyone. And I mean, there are players even on the web.com tour that don't qualify for the main event that will be capable for winning.
Yeah, we're talking to David Fehrety. The Barclays is broadcasting at 3 p.m. on Saturday on CBS. Now, I wonder, David, if that's necessary for the continued health of golf, right? Because one of the knocks on Tiger Woods is that through his run of dominance, and he was dominant, and you can't ever take away what he was able to do with the 14 majors, but there really wasn't like that guy who was his adversary, like the yin and the yang, or the protagonist to the antagonist. There really wasn't that dynamic with Tiger, but now you're seeing it. Is that what's the most important thing in golf right now?
Well, I mean, I think it is to a certain extent, but, even though Tiger was so dominant, there was the fascination with simply, the fact that he was. I mean, you're not playing, the number one tennis player in the world, Tiki, is going to win 95% of the time. He's only playing one guy.
Yeah.
But in golf, the number one player is used to losing 90% of the time. Jack Nicklaus's record was 11%, over his career. He won 11% of the tournaments that he played. And at one stage, Tiger was running in the low 40s. That's extraordinary. So just to be able to see that, I was there for all of that, right at the cutting edge, on the fairway with him, and it was like watching a creature from another planet.
Yeah,
he was so. I mean, my children aren't going to see that kind of golf, and their children may not see it in their lifetimes. It was an unbelievable privilege, and the amount of money that he generated. They sold 50,000 more tickets last week. They increased the parking by 30%, and they doubled the police force. And they gave, I think, half as much again to charity as they had done in previous years, simply by his presence.
Yeah, no, you're talking
what
about
he's done over the last 20 years, Tiki. These players should kiss him every time they go to the tee.
That's a good way.
For huge amounts of money, he's generated hundreds of millions of dollars for local area charities everywhere he's played. The most remarkable athlete.
Yeah, no, and you're starting to see an infusion of new things, like Under Armour is now in golf with Jordan Spieth. I mean, it's just the money that wasn't there in golf is now there, and a lot of it is thanks to Tiger Woods. And sometimes we want to vilify the guy because he's playing horribly as of late, even though he didn't last weekend. But you got to give the guy his due. Where is he in his game? And does it ever come back to some extent to where he can win a major again?
Well, I'm a Tiger Woods believer. You can't watch what I watched for so long and look at him in good shape at 39 years old, the talent that he has, and for me, I can't believe that he's not going to win again. He is just so much willpower, and I mean, he's a basket case at the moment. He's so frustrated. I mean, how could you not be, having been, where he was, and to have dropped to the extent that he has to be an incredibly frustrating experience. But he's got such willpower, Tiki. I've never seen anything like it. If another player had played the way he has for the last couple of years, I mean, I don't think they'd break 80.
Yeah.
But he just squeezes absolutely everything. He goes bogey, triple bogey, and then birdies for 3 times, on the way in. Even in the last round last week, there is absolutely no quit in him. And this is, from a guy who could buy his own island and declare himself a republic.
Yeah, you're right. So maybe we should appreciate Tiger, even though he's not on the mountaintop, he's down in the valley. David Fehrety, CBS Sports on-course golf reporter. We'll see you this weekend at the Barclays at 3 p.m. on CBS. I appreciate you joining me this morning, David.
Pleasure. Anytime, Tiki. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.